Hi everyone, welcome to another video for ROS Q&A. My name is Rodrigo here at The Construct, and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be explaining the differences in the parameter setting that you will have between ROS1 and ROS2. So I'm going to have an example to show you guys how you can really simple example how you can use these parameters and how they differ from ROS1, and whether you have to add it into you can add it from a launch file, or you can generate your parameter to a .yaml file. So I'm going to be showing you guys that. So the first important thing to recognize for ROS2 parameters is that they are implemented to each node individually, as opposed to in ROS1, you upload them to the parameter server. For this, you would need a ROS core, and that's how you could access, any node can access those. Now, since there's no ROS core, that's why these parameters have to be associated with each node. So technically, when you kill a node that you have loaded the parameters into, those parameters will be killed as well. And the parameters in these nodes is very useful because they can be loaded at the node startup. So when you launch it from a launch file or from a ROS2 run command, or you can change them while the node is running. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So all right. So we're going to do this. I'm going to take you back to, we're going to do this in our platform, theconstructsim.com. So if you type in theconstructsim.com, it will take you to this, this page. And if you don't have an account, you can quickly make one and get started. So this is where I'm going to show you guys. And over here, you'll see a My ROSjects button, so you can click on it. And in this video, I'm going to be using what we're called ROSjects. I'm going to use this ROSject. You can see it's the ROS2 parameters ROSject. And I will share this in the description, so you can pretty much paste this link. You'll see this in the description of the video. And just paste it on your browser up here. And you should be able to have this. This is just because I have a little simulation and some code for you guys to practice this. So I'm going to be launching this this ROSject. And while it's loading, let me just take you back to theconstructsim.com and encourage you guys to get started with our platform. We have over 50 robotics courses that you can start from scratch, from not knowing how to code. And you can also take more advanced courses. For example, we have a learning path for beginners for ROS and ROS2, as well as more advanced topics like machine learning and manipulation in both C++ and Python. So yeah, I recommend you guys come check this out and get started learning with us. All right, so I'm going to go back to the ROSject. This is basically our development tool. We have things like a web terminal over here. We also have our IDE, which is a sort of a version of Visual Studio Code, and where we have all our files here. We have a place where you can check any gazebo simulations, and we also have a notebook here where I put some instructions on how to do this. So all right, let's get started. So what I'm going to do here is to show you guys how you can do this parameter loading from a practical example, a really simple one. And for this, I'm going to be using the Turtlebot simulation. So you can see here how you can launch it. So we can just paste this in our terminal. while this is loading, let's go to the IDE. I see that there is an error, so I probably have to launch it again. Okay, that looks like it's working. So, all right. Oh, yeah, we have our gazebo window pop up, which means that it's probably gonna show our simulation. All right, so here's our simulation. So you can see it's just a very basic empty world simulation, and in the middle there's a Turtlebot waffle pie. We don't need it to look perfect right now because I'm just going to show you this example. So, all right, we have this simulation. So if we go to a new terminal here and check the topics, we should be able to see the topics being advertised by this simulation. And in this example, I'm going to be using the command vel topic, so I'm going to be sending velocity commands to the robot through parameters. And over here, we're going to go into our ROS2 workspace. This is where we're going to put all of our ROS2 package that we create to develop. You'll see that there's a parameter tests package that I've created here. So, first of all, I'm going to be showing you this node, which is very, very simple. All right, all it's doing is creating a node here from this class, velparam, and just spinning it, just going round and round. And what this class does is we create our node and we create a timer callback, which will be executed every certain amount of time. Here is every 0.01 seconds. And we create a publisher to this command vel topic that I'm telling you about. And this is the important part. We're going to use a parameter description here that is going to ask us to implement a parameter to set the velocity. And in here, we use it with this function declare parameter, and we specify it like this. So when the timer callback comes in every certain amount of time, it's going to check this parameter, the velocity parameter. It's going to use it then to publish it to the simulation. So very basic. So I'm going to be launching this to show you guys. So I'm going to put the simulation over here so you can see it like this. And I'll open a new shell, a new terminal here. And in here we can just run this node. So ROS2 run, parameter tests is the name of the package. The name of the executable, I forget, but you can just press tab and it does it for you. Okay, so now our node is running, and as you can see, it's spinning every 0.1 seconds like we said, and it's checking the parameter, which right now is 0. So let's check that. So if we go to another terminal, we can check the parameters. Oh. And in here, you'll see that there are some parameters associated with each node. So there's a Turtlebot scan node, there's a diff drive, there's a robot state publisher, and then there's a parameter vel node. This is the node we just launched. And as you can see, this one comes with every node, the use sim time, But this is the parameter that we defined in our node. So as you can see, this one is the declare parameter. We do it to, and it's called velocity. So now we know that our node, param_vel node, is offering this parameter. So let's check what it does if we set it to something. This is what's really useful. So if we do a ROS2 param set, then the name of the node, which is param_vel node, and the name of the parameter, velocity, and let's say we want to set it to 0.9. Then you see how our timer callback detected this parameter because it's checking it in every the get parameter here in every iteration, and then it's getting it, and it's a different value now. It's a 0.9. So now it's publishing every time. So that's why it's moving ahead like this. So if we were to set it back to 0, then our node that's checking the parameter and publishing based on that parameter gets updated. And we can do this for anything, for an angular velocity or a certain program that you want to launch. But this is basically the most simple way of me to show you. Let's see if, for example, we want to go back, we can just set it to minus 0.9, and it should start moving backward. Great. So let's stop this guy. And basically, that's a very good way to dynamically change your parameters, but obviously through the terminal, so it would still need a little more work for you to implement it into programs, but this is the basic idea. Now, we can stop this. And here you can check, once you get this ROS checked, you'll see this is what I've been doing, the instructions. And as you can see here, obtain node parameter in YAML file. Okay, so you can actually generate a .yaml file that outputs your current parameters onto a YAML, which is very useful. So for that, it's very simple. So we can just, we would need to keep this running. So let's run our node again. And let's set it to say 0.1. So our turtle bot should be moving. We don't really care though. So in this, we can use this terminal. We can go to this directory. I always like to keep it clean, to a config file, and then ROS2 param dump param_vel node. So you can see that it's saved to param_vel node.yaml. So let's check. In our config file here, we have now that YAML. And as you can see, it outputs our two parameters that we have associated with our node. So now, this is useful because now you can use it in launch files and things like that. So let's see. Let's try that. All right, I'm just gonna stop this guy. And with this, I can show you what I mean. So in your launch folder, you'll see that we have a test parameters.launch.py. And this is another way. I'm getting confused, so I'm just going to show you how you can launch that node with the parameter yum that we just created, and it's just like this. So in here, let's say we're going to change this to 0.9, so it should be way quicker than it was a second ago. So if we go ahead and launch that command, let's see, I'm gonna launch it over here so you can see. We'll just have to copy this, which is just saying ROS2 run, which is running our node, but we're specifying this ROS-args param file, and then we're specifying the path to which this yum is saved. So if we launch it like so, then it's going to be launched with that parameter. So let's say we wanted to stop. We do the same. It's moving over there. We do the same and it should stop, right? So that's another way you can load your parameters, by using a YAM file. And that dump tool is very useful to get all the parameters you have running in a node, because a lot of times you don't even know. All right, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, the other last way to do it is from a launch file. So in here, this is just a simple launch file that is launching our node. Remember, when you add a launch file, you'll have to modify your setup.py to include everything that's going to be in your launch folder. So we use OS and glob to join those strings, and you can import them. So always remember, when you're working with Python amend, you have to do these modifications, and as well as the config here, the config folder, and entry point for your executable. And here you're telling it to run the main function inside of the executable, the node called parameter test node inside of this package, and this is the name of the executable. So you can basically use this launch file to set it to whatever you want for the parameters with this parameter variable here. And let's try and launch it. All you need to do is ROS2 launch. It's called parameter tests, and I think it's test parameters. Yes, it's test parameters. And there you go. It starts running with the parameter that you specified it. And that's it. That's a very basic introduction of what you can use with parameters, what you can do with it a little more dynamically. Always remembering that you assign the parameters to each node as opposed to the parameter server in ROS1. I know a lot of people are transitioning, so this is just the main thing you gotta look out for, and it's very useful to use these tools to know how to correctly use parameters. So let me guys know if you have any questions down here in the comments, and yeah, remember to click on the link in the description to obtain this ROS-checked in our platform, and that's it. So thank you very much, guys. I'll see you guys on our next video. All right, bye-bye.